With a sight of fans splashing in pools behind the end zone, we can only be in one place. That's Everbank Field in Jacksonville, Florida. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. Between the Houston Oilers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The first carry now for Dalvin Cook. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12. Well, one unit I know you want to watch is that offensive line. If they keep clearing holes like that, it could be a long night defensively.
No doubt about it, because when they're in sync, as we're seeing so far, where that continuity is there, and you can see that they're playing off of each other while controlling the defensive front linebackers, you're exactly right. It could be a very long night for the defense because someone's going to run for some big yardage.
On second down, Mariota again. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off at the 47. Certainly not how they envisioned ending their opening drive here in the first quarter.
Too many ones in this play. First quarter, first drive, first interception thrown.
And that last one, that hurts. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And he's able to get this one down to the 40-yard line. Give him 11 yards that time and a new set of downs. That's the number 2 receiver in the NFL in terms of yardage. And tell you what, a few more plays like that, he won't be number 2 for long.
But that's what often happens when you have competitors running around the field. These guys know where they stand in relationship to yardage, totals, numbers, the whole deal. And let's face it, all of them, they all want to be number 1.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. Charles, Thursday night game, I think a lot of teams probably say shrink the playbook somewhat. Is that correct?
I think you're right about that because you just don't have the amount of time that you have in a normal week to put in a full playbook. So as you said, you shrink the playbook, pick out the plays that work best for you. You know what else you're looking for?
What's that?
Who are the freshest guys coming off the last game to play on a Thursday night?
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning. A great job defensively. Nowhere to go with the football. That led to the sack.
The defensive line disperses a little bit here, maybe expecting a pass. Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. He's going to float this one deep, and this is caught. And he takes it down deep into enemy territory. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. And now line pinching together, must be expecting the run. Trying to punch it in with Henry. And lead. Graham Gano on for the extra point. It's up and good, and it'll give his guys a 7-0 lead. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. And he'll take this one near the 25, call it the 26-yard line. Here comes the Jaguars offense as they get set to go again. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. That's going to go as a loss of 2, and it'll be second down.
Every year I go to the combine and marvel at the speeds that linebackers are running nowadays. They run like DBs. And let's face it, they know how to finish plays too. Eyes up, head up, run right through them.
Now a second down throw for Mariota. And he's going to drop this off to his fullback. And he's going to be taken down right at the line.
Pass complete. But no gain.
No yards.
Yeah.
So you file that as unsuccessful.
Yeah, you do, don't you? Except on the stats, throwing the ball.
Get a completion.
You get a catch.
Yeah.
But still,
no
yardage. Okay.
Third and long here for Mariota. And they get to Mariota here as he's dropped on the sack. Khalil Mack in there to get him. And that's sack number 6 for him on the year. And the Jaguars send out their punter as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he gets this away, angled for the sideline with a lot behind it. Wow. And this punt will go out of bounds. I think it'll be inside the 25, and it will. Right at the 24-yard line is where they'll spot it. And now out comes Houston. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
Now a play fake here on first down. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on at second down. And now following the incomplete pass, we'll get a timeout here for an injured player. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. He'll try again with the arm here on second down. Walker with a grab, left side. First down, he'll drop to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And an alley to run. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be second down.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there, not there. After about the third one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
Second down and 4. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Throw taken in by Taylor, left side. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, Sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down, executed it to perfection. And he'll lose yardage here, back at the 47. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Okay, let's just make this one simple. We know that the running game is not their thing, but they can't just throw it on every single down without expecting some real heat from the pass rush.
Now they'll throw here out of the gun. Got a man over the middle, and it's complete. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 15, just shy of the 10. And that one results in 35 yards. Back to throw now on first down. And a quick throw here, that's complete. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
They threw the screen to the perimeter, but to no benefit at all. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of yardage.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll lose yardage here. They go backwards to the 13-yard line. Back alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. This long drive continues here to start the second quarter. They're in the midst of a nice drive, but facing a third and long here. And on the outside, they're playing press coverage. They'll look to throw. And got his man. It's caught. Touchdown, Houston. And when a Hail Mary is completed for a touchdown pass like that, I think any defensive coordinator just puts their face right into their hands.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, and I don't have stats in front of me. I don't have the empirical numbers that say that in recent years the Hail Mary pass has been completed more than it has been, but it feels that way, doesn't it? And I know the defenses are spending more time on it. I think the biggest mistake they make is that they play everything from behind the receiver. I think they've got to start getting people in front as well to try and knock the ball away.
And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Second down, Mariota. And his throw is going to be incomplete. D.D. Westbrook, his intended receiver. And that takes us from second to third down.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
On third down, Mariota. It's caught. Jones. And he's going to get to the 31, enough for the first down. The Jags picking up the first down there, a gain of 12.
I heard so much about the offense Marcus Mariota ran while he was at Oregon, about how people were just wide open, how he couldn't fail to hit them. But I always said the same thing. He sure as heck didn't miss them very often. Very accurate, even on short throws.
Yeah, he can go short. He can go deep, obviously, but he's really good with that short passing game.
Start throwing, very accurate. Receivers love him.
And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another first down. It will. Mariota on first down. Buying time to his left. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. That throw good for 4. It's second down. On second down, Cook. And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up third.
We just saw another example of how the defense is winning this game. Really at the point of attack, the offensive line's just getting pushed around. I think now as a play caller, you've got to give them a little bit of help. Maybe you keep your tight ends a little bit more. Maybe the running backs help you a little bit with the pass blocking. But you've got to help them get some confidence because you can't abandon the play calling right now.
Now Mariota. Got a man complete. It's the tight end Amaro. And he'll get it into enemy territory just across midfield at the 49. The completion good for only 6, and that'll bring up fourth. Fourth down, Mariota. And this is caught. Amari Cooper. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. First down, Jacksonville. The passing game looking sharp on this drive for the Jags. First down, here's the run with Cook. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball on this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. It makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation.
Mariota. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete.
But one thing that I've liked defensively is that they've shown him a lot of different looks here in the first half. They've come after him. They've sat back. I think that's what you need to do to keep an offense guessing.
And they certainly have kept them on their toes. That's why they haven't had much success on the scoreboard. To throw, Mariota. And he comes back with one complete. And he's going to have a first down here as he gets this one to the 17-yard line. First down, Jacksonville. The passing game looking sharp on this drive for the Jags. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. From the red zone now, Mariota. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off inside the 5. And he'll be brought down at his own 10-yard line. 1:57 to go in this first half. Back with more from Jacksonville. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Here we go.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. A gain of 6 there on first. And you can bet they're going to lean on him quite a bit, obviously. They did last week. It was over 100 yards also. AFC Player of the Week is announced Wednesday.
And until they take that away, I would continue to lean on him, try and have another reward for him winning this game. But when you look back at last week and you saw how he was able to find holes in the defense, but it's also the run after the catch, that's what made it impressive.
And before this second down play, we'll get a whistle, a signal, and a timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Looking to jam the receivers at the line here. Press coverage look defensively.
Come on, let's go. Ohio.
Out of the gun. They'll look to throw. Going down the middle, and it's complete. And he'll be taken down just shy of the 40. 23 yards on the play. Right after the turnover, they come out throwing.
And that means it's a sudden change situation. We used to practice it on defense. Sudden change, get out there, stop the offense. But you typically run out there a little bit unsettled. I think that's why he came right out throwing the football, hoping to catch him off balance.
And he did. And lucky to get away with one there. That one nearly picked. Second down.
You're down 2 touchdowns. You just know defensively you absolutely have to come up with a big play. That nearly was one right there.
Looked over at the sideline immediately after the drop and just saw the dejection. They felt it. They thought he had it. Unfortunately, couldn't come up with it.
Come on, let's go. Ohio.
And some changes here as the D-line separates some. Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Taylor. And he'll go down right around the 47 this time. On 3rd down, that's Hughes. And he has the first down yardage before they bring him down right at the 45. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains. They'll look to throw now on 1st down. He sets to fire deep. And that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go. They're going for a receiver there. Already has 1 touchdown in this first half. A second one not to be.
I like where their headspace is, though. I mean, I really like the thought process, right? You got a guy who's already scored one, right? You want to go back to him, continue the hot hand, and make them adjust to you defensively. I like what they were trying to get done, even though they weren't successful.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. Throw left side complete. It's Taylor. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in this first half. Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10. So the D-line's going to spread out.
Flex round. Ohio.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. Incomplete, and we're down to 8 seconds now. He was trying to get it to Taywan Taylor. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Step in the proper direction.
Flex round.
They'll run it now out of the gun. Eventually wrangled down before reaching the 20, but a strong run. And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. On the left hash mark, this a 38-yard attempt. And the 10-year vet knocks it through the goalpost. So we reach halftime in what's been a fairly one-sided game so far. As we send you a couple hours south to Orlando, let's check in with Larry Ridley for our EA Sports Halftime Report. So both teams have their marching orders, and we'll get going again here in quarter number 3. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. And now out comes Houston. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly because What you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, I feel like you can take the spirit away from another team, that their drive and will to come back and win.
Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Touchdown, Houston. A big play there with touchdown number 12 on the year. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead.
As a fan, is there anything prettier than a well-executed post route?
No, it's a thing of beauty, especially when it's done like that for a touchdown.
The throw, the catch, and how about the run after to get it to the end zone?
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll take it back to about the 19-yard line. Here comes the Jags offense now. Time for their first possession of half number 2. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half 2.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how they were going to get that done. This is where scripting comes into play a lot of the time.
How many plays do you script coming out of the second?
Most of the time in the first half, you're scripting 12 to 16. I think in the second half, you're really scripting more like 8 to 10. Kind of a starter or an opener, whatever terminology they use. Just something to get you off to a quick start.
It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
But these guys are going to chop into that deficit. They're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Mariota now. And some space here. And he's going to be brought down by the face mask. Here come the flags. This is going to get him a first down. So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it is going to be 15 yards.
And a great spot to start this drive from here. Now on first down, he'll drop to throw it. That's complete, right around the 8. Showed off the toughness, but still corralled shy of the 5 at the 6. Give him 7 on the play, and that'll make it second down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And they'll get him down here at about the 5-yard line. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2.
Sometimes play calls boil down to philosophy. You know you're facing one of the top 10 units against the run in the NFL. So do you decide to keep smashing against them, or do you decide to throw the ball here?
They'll go to the air here on 3rd and 2. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And his guys capitalize on the short field as they take it in for 6. And the lead will grow by 1 more. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. That'll be taken in the end zone. And the decision to bring it out is going to cost him about 7 yards all told as he's taken down back shy of the 20. And out now comes Jacksonville as they get ready to go. They've got to dig down deep. I mean, they need something right now, really anything to cling on to. This offense has struggled.
Partner, join me in a walk to their locker room at the half, okay? Because I think what we would have seen is an offensive coordinator and his assistant coaches getting together with all their positions, then coming together as a group, going over adjustments, and then the head coach coming in and just screaming, wake up. Yeah. Let's get moving, guys.
I'm kind of glad we weren't in there at halftime, actually.
I mean, you think you might have turned it on us, too?
Yeah, but right now, whatever was said hasn't been working. Second down here after the incomplete pass. The defensive line disperses a little bit here, maybe expecting a pass. A second down throw here for Mariota. And this is going to be incomplete. Amari Cooper, the intended target. And that'll make it third down.
Very difficult night for the guys on offense. They've got to be looking at each other in the huddle and on the sidelines. How are we going to find some open space to complete a pass and find open room to run? This defense all night long has squeezed down the passing lanes, made plays on the football. It's really been a thing of beauty for them. He's got to figure all day long prepping for the game. They had to have talked about it again and again. Squeeze passing lanes, and we'll be in great shape.
That one goes for 24 yards. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down. I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right. He's pretty much been completely neutralized. Mariota now on second down. And they get to Mariota here as he's dropped on the sack. Avery Williamson from his outside linebacker spot, forcing the sack for a loss of 8. The Jaguars on third down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. This is 3rd and 14. Working out of the gun, Mariota. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down. Another drive comes and goes. Still nothing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and when the second half comes, you know, it's real easy to get discouraged and wonder if you're ever going to get things started. You just got to fight through it. Got to keep pounding away.
Still just the third quarter, but they've got to make something happen. I think they know that. They're going for it on 4th. They're indeed going. It's Mariota. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. A surprising move to go for it, and predictably, at least somewhat predictably, it doesn't pay off, and the ball will go over on downs on the short side of the field. And they'll start this drive with very good field position. Now a handoff here to his running back. Down right around the 25. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7.
Third quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Come on, let's go! Ohio! 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 Here we go! Flex round! Flex round! Check, check.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Down to the 25. He'll pick up only a yard there, and it'll leave him with a 3rd and 7.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. They get only 4 that time as that leads us to a 4th down. And for the second time tonight, his field goal unit comes out here. He hit his first, this one from 38. And Godot's kick is right through. And that will just add 3 more to a lead that's already out of hand. So he splits the uprights there, and I would imagine it's nice as a kicker. Right when it leaves your foot, you know it's good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a golfer that picks up his tee after a nice drive without even watching it land.
Solid analogy. I like it. And in hindsight, probably should have stayed where he was, as he'll only get back to the 6th. Yard line. They start the drive with Cook. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. No gain on the play. It'll be second down. And as a defensive end, getting off the ball quickly, swarming to the football, making a tackle, that's what we saw right there.
Yeah, that's what their job is. And really, a lot of the time, they have to throttle back a little bit in the run game because you know those defensive ends, they're like in a sprinter stance. They're just headed straight for the quarterback. That was good recognition on that play to hold him to no gain.
Throwing is Mariota. And Jones has it over the middle. And he's brought down after a good gain. A nice gain of 21 yards.
Quarterbacks love slant routes because the receivers are breaking right into their line of vision, and receivers love them as well because they're getting the ball on the move and able to catch it and try and get upfield and gain additional yardage.
And some changes here as the D-line separates some. A give. This is Cook. And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39. Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
Back now in Jacksonville. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the fourth quarter. A very one-sided affair. Now a second down throw for Mariota. Looking long for Westbrook. This is caught inside the 15. It's a big play for the Jaguars. And even 50 yards. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there.
That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak.
And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line. Jarrell Casey able to swamp him from that defensive tackle spot for a loss of 5. So 2 plays with only negative yardage to show, and now it's 3rd and 16. Here's a carry for a former starter. This is T.J. Yeldon. And they'll get him down right around the 16. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it'll be 4th down.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't let them outside where they can really shred your defense.
Well, it's a Pyrrhic victory at best, but, Charles, no team wants to get shut out, so it's hard to blame them for taking the 3 there.
You can't blame them one bit. It hasn't been the best performance, that's for darn sure. But there is something to be said for fighting to avoid the goose egg, and they're at least trying to finish out strong.
And now out comes Houston. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met.
It'll wind up being a loss of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 12.
Come on, let's go! Grand 38! Grand 38! Flex round! Flex round! Flex round!
And to give this time to the tailback. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. And he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on third down.
They give them 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs. And a new set of downs here after picking up the first on the ground.
Let's go.
The play clock's running down. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Looks like they're establishing a pretty good pattern here because they've been very heavy in the running game on the last 4 plays.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So far, 4 plays in this drive, all 4 on the ground. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. Now they'll run it on the toss. Able to avoid him at the 40. And he's brought down. They give him 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offense.
And now a fumble. The ball's out. But fortunately, another offensive player quick to react, and they will indeed retain possession. No gain there as he kept it himself at 2nd down. Shift together here from the D-line. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll take it down to the 30-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there as they'll be left with 3rd and 1.
Let's go. 190. 190.
A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
Picture me putting my city all over the map. They wasn't believers, I had to get even and mad. We coming up, pulling up, jumping all over your grass. So tell them I got a new girl. Tell them that I'm the back and I want on my 50s in cash. I'm tired of living check to check. I need 20 models. This is smiling in my grave, fresh to death. I've been Wu-Tang with a spectral deck. Getting, yeah, I gotta just get off my chest. I cannot miss it, got last on my list and you next. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, but I think I might just skirt off. Blow the speakers and turn up. Pop up. Go to church with my shirt off. Tell the Lord that I'm here now. I've been waiting for so long. I've been patient for so long. Breaking rules like there's no laws, and I did it for a long time. If you don't like me, take a ticket. There's a long line. Nice to meet me. I think the pleasure's all mine. They've been clocking me so long, I think they lost time. Ooh, you lost. What you mean? Woo!
The Rams are now on the clock.
And now I'm just a so what you mean? Woo! Hold up, whoa, what you mean? Woo! Hold up now.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Adrenaline popping, the blood will be leaking and running. Yeah. I do what I do, I don't care if you like it or love it. Tell all of my I got a new girl. Wait. You tell the that I'm the bank and I want my money in hundreds. I'm tired of living on the edge. I want it, they gon' call the feds. I just bought it, cost an arm and leg. My mama told me take it back and get a job instead. Where's your common sense? Me and the devil got too much in common, I swear. Yeah. Born in the ghetto, I never had nothing to fear. Take it how you want it. I ain't famous like I want it, so I might just throw a hissy fit. Call up Cassie after she broke up with Diddy, yeah. I told Shorty if she talking, I ain't. And she gon' call her friends up and we did.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Chop off your lips. If I ain't in your top 10, go off a bridge. My black boys like boys that knock off your lid. I thought y'all gon' pop off, so hop off my. What you mean?
The Giants are now on the clock.
Listen, I don't trust a soul. No, I said, what you mean? Whoa, I said, what you mean?
Adam, what can you tell us about the Giants' newest player?
Well, there isn't much to say other than this kid was born to run. He's the spitting image of his father, a nationally ranked sprinter in several major events, and highly recruited by every major college. However, unlike his dad, he chose to pursue a career in football, and so far that decision is paying off. He may not be gold medal fast, but he has the speed and quickness to cause fits for the opposing team. He's the type of player you like to see out in the open field where he can make moves a lot of other players can't. The coaches are going to love having his speed at their disposal.
Michael Jackson, some baddest bag on get it.
What you mean?
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? When I come round there like a bad boy, do it. Want all the talking, go on and do it. Running through the party, bottle up. Rolls in my ear saying storms, don't do it. Devil on my shoulder, I don't lack. Hitting with a business, I don't scrap. Even when I'm bar, I'm so easy right, but there's no car and no match. What you talking about? Clown, stand down. Never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like yeah, storms gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them I can't be, you see my done there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You were never ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family thing, straight family thing. Dumb man, I broke no salary thing. Had a young thing called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie thing. Hashtag Murky Academy thing. You were like art and the gallery thing. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
I got the big size toes on my feet.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
Sometimes an overall 40-yard time taken at face value can be misleading, and here's a good example why. At his pro day, you might have thought that he ran the same time as he did at the combine. But if you look at the split times, he was significantly quicker in the 10 and 20-yard splits than he was previously. His top-end speed is still roughly the same, but what he was able to show was a quicker burst off the line, something that's valued on any position down in the trenches. His quicker first step helped him rise a bit over some of the other defenders and be taken with this pick.
This waste man's in. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you're never too big to rebel. I was in the O2 singing my lungs out rude, but you're never too big for Adele. Leave my yard, blow a kiss to my girl. Salute to my sister as well. Gotta keep trophies down.
The Rams are now on the clock.
For myself, man, I see bare MCs on the sideline, but I still got a couple bangs in the pipeline. Man, I got grown men at me. You're getting way too old for the timeline. You're getting way too old for this. Should've looked after your kids. Get out the booth, go home to your son. It's never too late to commit. It's like man love, put my name in a random flag, get a plane to
The Jets are now on the clock.
business. Next year I'll learn how to play the guitar. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth?
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. Packers have just picked up Garner. Adam, garner us some information.
He was always a physical player, and all the tests confirmed it, but what scouts saw at the All-Star game was poor technique. It looked to me like he was playing a little too aggressive, and it worked against him. I spoke with one coach who seemed to like him, but also said he needed to be taught how to tackle properly. He had a lot of success on physical play alone in college, but that won't work anymore in the NFL.
All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
A high-flying, hard-hitting defensive back, he was the subject of much criticism earlier this year after being unable to put together consistent performances week to week. Consistency doesn't even do the roller coaster of emotions he went through justice. A better description may have been puzzling. After turning in an exceptional performance in Week 1 with 2 picks, he was downright terrible in Week 2, being burned for 3 touchdowns. Week 3 saw him force a fumble and return it for a touchdown, and then Week 4 saw him get beat on plays that led to critical scores and a close loss. The pendulum continued to swing both ways throughout the entire year, prompting one scout I spoke with to nickname him the Enigma. This pick could have a huge upside, providing this coaching staff has the patience for him to develop into a much more consistent player.
The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Okay, now we back to square one. It's hard to square up.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Sons, Lord, please bless them. Back to the party. I'm just pouring my. Don't get face that before, so I live it up. When I come, better get them up. That's a floss track, better get them up. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let you finish up. Like a diamonds, I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness. I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight and lose your mind. Squad, I'm it. 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 Squad, I'm it.
Okay, so Lindley was just picked up. Adam, what's the latest?
Here's a kid who caused quite a stir earlier this year when he came out criticizing off-season workouts stating that athletes of his caliber would be doing more harm than good to their body and preferring low-impact workouts such as yoga and Tai Chi to explosive Olympic lifting. The key concern from numerous teams was how this attitude would translate to his work ethic once he joined the team, with many worried that this may lead to issues in the locker room. The fact that his draft stock dropped in several mocks after these comments does not diminish the potential upside of bringing him onto your team. He's a gifted athlete who demonstrated tremendous leadership in college. Expect the strength and conditioning coaches to meet with him right away and talk training philosophy to head off any potential issues before they begin.
Make it out and I don't bring my no way, no way, no way, yeah. They ones and they here to stay, yeah. I heard these always hating, said I never make it. I heard these always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah.
I heard he tryna lie me, but I ain't no dummy. It's okay though, got it, you really want it. I spent 13 on the ring and now I feel unlucky. Hey, she love my diamond ring, she said she wanna touch it. It's okay, I get 30K just to hit the stage. Sip, hit my Michael, in my Michael J. I get cake, I cannot complain. Been finessing since I was a kid in the second grade. Selling lemonade, get paid. Hold up, wait, can I get paid? Yawn, in a break, feel like I'm in space. See a snake, kill a snake, get paid. Get left every day, so get your straight.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Mad cause I'm trying to feed my family. Why I gotta watch a friend more than an enemy? I had to stun on a that I'm supposed to stunt with. Had to cut you off, you was on some dun. You was supposed to be my dog, why you hate on me? It takes success to turn your friends to some enemies. That is crazy. Cause it's shining, now you acting shady. Yeah, but I guess it's okay. My mama told me you would show me your ways. Yeah, but I gotta check on him. I had the bands. Pull up in the land. Diamonds on me look like Ernie. He's always hating, said I never make it. I heard he's always talking with them. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. I heard he's mad at me cause I'm getting money. I heard he's mad at me cause he's on me. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, yeah. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Yeah.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spray. Make it rain just to let you know. Tell a hater get up on my face. Yeah, I've been ballin' since like yesterday. Yeah, all this money all up in the way. All this money in the way. You know that I'm walking with the bang. Yeah, water, diamond on my ring. You know that I'm rockin', feel the blood.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock.
Make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Yeah, you cannot see me, the windows is tinted. Yeah, driving around right in that Bentley. Hey, you driving around right in that Bentley. Hey, but your shit, it just be rented. Yeah, but that is none of my business. Hey, money won't stop me, go straight to the top. Believe it or not, you like getting the same. Yeah, she know I'm a rock star. Looking at my chain, on my diamonds rock hard. Turned the way up, I ain't getting tired. And if you wanna race, then we gonna ride. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Hey, yeah, you know I've been ballin'.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
I'm shot callin'. I'm a spike. Make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Hey, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a spike. Make it rain just to let you know. Yeah, pulling up with the crew. Oh my goodness. Must have done.
The Bills are now on the clock.
You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Crime. It's a shame they let us jump out of Bentleys with dirty vans. Hit the stage for 15 minutes, get 30 bands. Swiss bank counting clean money with dirty hands. With some hood that's ready to with the. Since I came in, it made my name a name brand. French. Paris clubbing like a caveman. We threw up the pyramids, now they say we Illuminati. I'm a tsunami, what the it's a little yachty. No blood diamonds, I rock gold like a king. Jury so cold, made them blow the nose off the Sphinx. You think I'ma be some type of role model? I go full throttle, desperado, that's the motto. Vic in Chicago is Hugh Hef at the grotto.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Drinking it with an Alicia Machado. I'm the ticket, you just hit the lotto. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme. Young Vic the diamonds, finest. I shine like puff shine. Shines if I sign to the rock, cause I'm timeless. Top off the Mozzie, my behavior is mindless. On kids, we major, you mindless. Fresh out the cell to the booth. Drop the roof, I'm still in the hood. Tell, shoot. Hope with a club. The judge, you rappers is false flagging, you a fashion. What's cuz, what you know about? What's Velo? Why Barry Lee, your head ringing? Free Big Mensa, I'm a star, chain swinging. This that music, you can blame Reagan. I'm ball mayin' without paying. Y'all playing, we playing. My Himalayan. The lotto, that's a sacrificial lamb. I'm season cam, no matter, blam. Pulling up with the coupe. Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting looking stupid on the stoop. Oh my goodness. I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness. This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness. Smiling with 50 carats in my jaw. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Every other night I'm outside with the. You ain't got chips. The world, you got chips. You could the next man's girl. Sounds harsh, but they been ripped apart my world. The way Kiss told it should never be misquoted. The that you wave on the camera, we been toting. Selling love potion my whole rap career. So your streams and downloads could never match the kids. We could go for
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Jumping the fence and see you snoring. Street poetry, I'm more wild.
The Browns are now on the clock.
Like Illmatic and Lauren, written on to a table full of fresh skin in the type of rappers we know. Got the right numbers on it. Burn the Carter down like
the Jaguars are now on the clock.
Oh my goodness. Must have done same with the roof. Oh my goodness. You sitting
the Redskins are now on the clock.
I would take notes if I were you. Oh my goodness.
This was designed with the stars, the square and the cross, so we know true north. Oh my goodness.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Oh my goodness. The law, it's a shame, rhyme, crime.
Montana.
You know, I'm like, yeah, nice P, you know?
What up, Pink?
Man.
La música de Harry Fraud.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Man, you don't want with them, bro. Oh, you, and it better get low. Extorting, you ain't got no friends. Oh, they'll be wear that like a Chanel scarf like rainbow. $1,000, this ain't your cloth. You ain't, that ain't no sauce. I can see the noodles made for poodles. I'm thinking about the law Ferrari coupe. 1.8, the option is the roof. Greens is a secret to the youth. Your goals are malnourished. Please spit the juice. Y'all be vaping, I be laden. Yes, y'all be aping. I'm Richard Mill Nation. No diamonds, just tourbillon facing with gears and sprockets with the sapphire casing.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
Here's a little story about a kid from Morocco. Had to show Carlito I was Benny Blanco. Check it out. Raindrop, offset. Plug, need an outlet. Shot put me in
The Bears are now on the clock.
all the face shorty, socks off. Nat Miller, Reggie Miller, the killer, Canaries, back stiller, white villa, fresh vanilla, garage like a kill himself. Lauren Hiller, get up, crib Calabasas on the hill.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Beatles on the red carpet. Alcatraz bars, crash cars, ain't no future in front. My homie rip your mask off.
When I pull up, they notice me. Come and talk to me like Jodeci. But don't you be too close to me. Them goons you see, let it go for me. I bring them things, I bring them things. I call them, he bring them things. Mucho, I bring them things. Looking so expensive, rings and things. I bring them things. I bring them things. I bring them things.
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
Well, he was creeping up draft boards around the league until he took a big hit late in the season that knocked him out for weeks. Unfortunately, when the combine invites went out, he was still rehabbing from corrective surgery. Without his combine numbers, it became difficult for scouts to compare him with other players in his position group. His pro day didn't help much either, as he looked much worse than he did before the injury. I've heard from a source that the team had a workout with him where they did their own evaluation of his health. I guess they must have liked what they saw to have just drafted him now.
My pockets looking blessed up. All the talking never stressed us. They talking like they jealous of me. They talking like they never love me. They talking like they next door. I still treat them like so. Showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got look like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to get me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got look like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to get me. I still to wish them well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles for my exes now. Ain't no fingers let to count my blessing out. Promises and wishes, trust me, it's been different now. No rings for the things I go missing now. Promises and wishes. Why would I ever start celebrating? Why would I ever start celebrating? I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. The shower's on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the band.
The Browns are now on the clock. Browns have just made Best their newest player.
This is a player that draft experts really didn't start talking about until the tail end of the season. The biggest topic of discussion was where the sudden change in production came from. I talked to his college position coach, and he told me that a nagging injury slowed him down early in the season. You can clearly see he favored one side over the other when he was put out on the field or even walking on the sidelines. After he was benched for a few weeks, he came back and played at a much higher level. Even so, some teams were still cautious and did a thorough medical examination at the combine to be sure he was completely recovered. The results must have been positive for the team to have just drafted him now. As long as he can stay healthy, I really like what he brings to this team.
Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
He came away from the combine with the Workout Warrior designation. It's a title that helps some sleepers become stars and some busts become, well, busts. The question was, which category did he fall under? Well, in his defense, if you look at his film, it seems to match up well with what he can do in the weight room. He's a physically gifted athlete and knows how to use it in games. If I had to pick out what kind of workout warrior he is, I call him Boom. We'll see if I'm right.
Goes on and on and on and on forever. And it's a long fight on this battle stop where we fight for love no matter where we are. And there's a big bet in this universe.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
You got me like, ooh. You got me like, ah.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
And ooh, with all the things you do, yeah, anything and everything a man can feel. Well, honey, I'm feeling with you. Baby, you're flashing, and I'm blinded by your light.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
I love the way the stars are all aligning.
The Panthers have made their selection, and it's Edwards.
Many draft experts speculated that the rigors of his college career were catching up with him and that his struggles were a result of playing through several nagging injuries and not an issue of talent drop-off. After some time off, he impressed with his raw numbers at the combine, giving more than one GM confidence that his series of struggles was nothing to worry about. He'll likely be given the opportunity to challenge for the starting spot, making him someone to keep a close eye on throughout training camp and the preseason.
Come on.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
Do whatever, get you paid, Cause, but I still low. Got 100 different to my cell phone. Still 33 for low. I'ma ride to my dog sitting in jail. It's that lighter on the grass, spin it back, roll. I'm on Keller, I'm on Gresham, I'm on Flat Shore. I'm at Magic, I'm at Bally's, let them go. Then it's right back to the when I'm low. Bars never close and we wide open. Kicking flavor with me, neighbor, yeah, we local. Rap the bottom, cause the bottom.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Pray for little paper, need a lump sum. Real spill, yeah, I'd rather be, yeah. Broke, real, little rich. All in love with her. She just wanna be in VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shake me. Had to get it, how I got it on my phone to be. Don't blame me, I'm what
The Packers are now on the clock.
they made me. I won't let it change me. I'm the same man. I stay myself, I never change. Yeah. Dirty so they treat me like a stain. Yeah.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Yeah. Rolling from the cradle to the
The Rams are now on the clock.
on my hood, on my block.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
I won't stop. Yeah. Play with me, let it. Yeah. Halo on me, Saint Laurent. Yeah. Got me with the school. Keep one. Move. You my little baby boo. Girl, I love you like my favorite color blue. Girl, real spill, yeah. I'd rather be, yeah. Broke, real, little rich. All in love with her. She just wanna be in VIP with her. Don't blame me, oh, they just shake me. Had to get it, how I got it on my phone to be. Don't blame me, I'm what the game made me, not what the fame made me. I won't let it change me, I'm the same man. I stay myself, I never change, yeah. Dirty so they treat me like a stain, yeah. Do whatever, get you paid, yeah. Rolling from the cradle to the grave, yeah.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock.
I've been stuck in my worldly ways. Propaganda, press, pen, the camera. Please don't look at me in my face. Everybody might see my pain. Off the rail, might myself. Bored with life as aboard this plane. Steward this sex if I need help. Maybe what's your last name? Hopefully it still ain't been changed. Something about you make me not doubt you. I will silence my brain, scream louder. Asking when I'm gonna myself. Couple problems, my cash ain't help. Human issues too strong for tissue. False provider, war mask by wealth. Move your body if you came here to party. If not, then pardon me. How I'm supposed to have a good time with death and instructions. All I see out the sight, I'm out of my mind. The sound, the sunshine is calling me. The vibrations is all I need. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, yeah. Party people, I like to see you dance. Party people, move. Party people, I like to see you groove. This is how we do. Deja vu from a bayside view. I see black cats in the daytime too. I see black cats on the daytime news. When handcuffed, wrist and his skin turned blue. I met God once at the rendezvous and felt starstruck.
Vince, the car's out front.
Got things to do, got to make my moves. I can't miss my flight and miss you too, boo. First class seats is overrated. Won't go lest they overpay us. Nowadays I'm overdating. My is street for the hurt.
All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
You heard his name brought up more and more as the college season went on. He really had a breakout year, getting the attention he deserved after having several monster games in which he looked almost uncoverable. Even when defensive coordinators started game planning around him, using double teams and throwing a safety in there for support, he still found ways to make plays. His quarterback put a lot of faith in him, and hopefully this team's quarterback will be able to do the same in due time.
The Ravens are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
Polo to the flow though. You already know though. It's Adamville for real. You see ya. Just take a photo. I'm reppin' as on photo with a oh yo bro though. Cause that Dodo thought that he could.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Oh no, I'm so Allen Temple. I'm so England Mountain. I'm so Mystic Valley. And I got a couple yesterday out of Cali. And my bag from the valley bought me brand new balance.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Dream, dusty, roll, man, she been riding since her daddy wrote on bold. I done in every hole, telling every I ain't with my wife, but if she meet her, might be a go. Rick Flair flashing, don't I look dashing, don't I look classy, don't act so sassy. I'm the man, boo, that's with or without you. With what your say, show me what that.
I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, barely flex. I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Gonna live forever. Live forever.
Daddy pants ain't with 3 S's. Little S's, no S's on my chest, but all these diamonds got me blessed. Usually I don't do this. Dumb it down, go stupid. Since 17.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
On goofy, gave up. Now who know what the truth is? Chicago.
Cowboys plan to go climbing. They've just picked Hill.
This kid is an explosive defensive talent. Sadly for fans of college football, his career came to an abrupt end after he suffered a grade 3 groin tear while attempting to make a tackle. After surgery, weeks of intensive, platelet-rich plasma therapy, and months of strength training of the affected area, he looked like his old self when he took the field for his pro day. Some scouts in attendance even felt as though he looked stronger and faster than before the injury. I'd expect him to get reps with the first-team defense come training camp, and don't be surprised to see him starting in week 1.
Yeah, I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, but this the best. Don't you see me out here shining, barely flex. I hear him talking reckless. I won't even stress. Just kill him softly with my press. Won't even address. They say it lonely at the top, this the best. And even if we die today, don't live forever. Live forever.
Yo, listen, just like I told Coco, my vision is You already know though. So go slow. Back my logo for show. Fogo.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Yo, listen. Just like I told Coco, my vision is vision. You already know though. So go slow. Back my logo for show. Fogo. Now get down on that.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock.
As we go on like we do. When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need to make your little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. Feel the same, and let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
You done made it to see a whole nother summer and it feel good. Stop now, top down through the neighborhood. Let the wind blow, open up the window. That girl is poison like Bellevue the bow. We have a barbecue to do at 4. Swimming pool party in the back on the low.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
The foundation of any good team starts up front, and here's a guy who's a franchise's dream come true. GMs I talked to pointed to several of his games in college where he took on some of the nation's best defensive linemen, going toe-to-toe with them for 60 minutes of brutal trench combat and dominating them. He's going to be able to protect the franchise quarterback in addition to opening up holes for the run game. With size, speed, and strength, he should have a very successful NFL career.
There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. Feel the same, and let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
Shined up my white walls, night falls. I'm feeling good. I'm doing things that you never would. Like surfing with the sharks or shooting in the dark. Riding on a bike with my grandson at the park. Evolve while I elevate. Take flight, levitate. Breakfast for
the Falcons are now on the clock.
The summer ain't the winter. Finna.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Motion. I'm headed to the
Browns are now on the clock.
Cars, neighborhood stars, up the boulevard we go till we can't go no more. It's me and mine, it's summertime. You go off and we go on.
As we go on like we do. When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. Feel the same, and let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
Like the way it sounds, Frody? Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe. Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe. It's too hot, drop the top off the wagon. Lay back, fire like dragon. Man, I'm flying past Saturn. Out of here like I ain't that savage. Two. It's like I'm at the studio with Michael. You can hear me dancing on the beat. Bam, about to put a mansion on the beach. 100 Latins in your lobby. That's what happens when you're around with body. And I put that my mommy. I will never give my heart to a I can just make a dance that goes with this song. Then I'ma be on. Basic, gonna dance to it. Basic.
The Packers are now on the clock.
To it. Just let me breathe for a minute.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
For a minute, just let me breathe
for a minute. White Range Rover, in it.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Just let me breathe for a minute, man. Just let me breathe for a minute. White Range Rover, ball in it. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that, shake that. You gotta, baby, shake that, shake that. Shake it. I got 2 shows, I'm about to pitch another. Throwing alley-oops to my brothers. We all shine, nobody victims. I'm on these sweatsuits, black Pippins. I swag different. That's why the money in the bag different. Come up short, you left your fam. I lay on beaches and swerving whips. You ain't serving, you just an urban myth. Every day, get ride around Queens on the jet ski. It's me. Every day, get to the day I die. Every day, get man, I that and I that bouncing up and down. Nearly broke. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute.
The Bills are now on the clock.
Let me breathe for a minute. Just let me breathe for a minute, man.
The Giants are now on the clock.
White Range Rover, in it.
The Raiders are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
I'm a running man.
The Jets are now on the clock.
Counting up the bills with my dominant hand.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Take this, appreciate it. This too. If I tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my
The Falcons are now on the clock.
So off my rocker got me sipping club soda. Some bombs never go off, some stars never blow up. I'm pitching in, never in
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking.
The Cowboys have made their selection, and it's Campbell.
The broad jump is a good test of a player's lower body strength, burst, and balance. Obviously, those are all important qualities any NFL running back must have. In his case, he had one of the shorter broad jumps among tailbacks at the Combine. According to Matt Miller, this may impact his ability to break arm tackles and burst through an opening in the line. We'll see if he can overcome his shortcomings and have success running the football for this team.
Say you want sit. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day. What the no tuck? Sway Lee Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on. Dipped in colors, bursts on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand. I got some guys that throw it back and make me drop the cans. I told
The Rams are now on the clock.
I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in. It all depends. Junior high, I was dreaming of a 10. I'm coming clean though. I mean, not a spec.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Chef, katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain. We getting to the money and you having issues. I bought a and it came with a wetsuit. The Buddha left me without breath. I really am a mess.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
She be hoping that I take a knee. Yes.
The Browns are now on the clock.
This is how we live. This is how we exist. Love the kicks.
The Lions are now on the clock.
All in the house and I'm wrecking. If I sleep, I'm a wrecker. I'm in my own world. Throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing. Tether on leather. Money talk. It's a lecture. 80-pointers dance on me. It's electric. Don't hate. I'm still unaffected. Chip on my shoulder. I move undetected. She said, pop the question. The question got deflected. Man, that made my boy. Then my
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
cut to
The Browns are now on the clock.
house when we in the place. My used the lava boys got it up in some flames. Stirring up the cup with my wrist souffle. Shaka Zulu chains with my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain. We bring it to your door like, you rang? Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang. With the Fendi belt, angry face like, put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestring.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
When they see me, man, I've been going crazy just to stay sane. Hey, your girl went missing, who's to blame? Young whippersnapper with a range. Pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage. And on me, you should get a raise. On me, yeah, you can hate.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
Oh, are you listening? Oh, you gotta hit the ground. Ain't no chain gonna hold me down. Dig deep, feel the burn. I've got a calling, so watch and learn. I heard a voice of his broken hymn saying, nah, this is who I am. I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher, 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 higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher, 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 higher. Keep running.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock.
Boom, boom, can you feel the flame? Hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? No, don't let it bring you down.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Don't give up like that. Oh, yeah, got a ways to go.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
I know you ain't there yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher, 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 higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. We're going higher, 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 higher. Keep running.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock.
I've been rolling on the freeway, I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
LOV
on my right leg, that's Gucci. Dig what I'm saying? LOV on my man, that's Poochie. Dig what I'm saying? Caught a little jet lag, but I'm golden. Yeah. We deserve Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Grammys, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies, it's a vibe. I just put the homie, it's a vibe. Over switch sides, it's a vibe. Yeah. I go through with
the Falcons are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock.
Different options, that I would most ever.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Gotta be on the thinker. I say
the Chargers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
Been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest, I got millions on my mind, and you didn't fit the picture, so I guess you want the vibe.
Dig what I'm saying, Chanel drapes on me daily. Dig what I'm saying, sponsored by Mercedes. Dig what I'm saying, this Creek Cologne is on me, maybe. Dig what I'm saying, I'm going hard, yeah. I pop in your memory, You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy. I gave you real love out the gutter. Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I go through it. I gotta accept that I pull up in several different options, that I would most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say, what? I can't feel my toes, but they gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled. Yeah.
I feel like I should be giving up.
The Packers are now on the clock.
It's too much.
The Bengals are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
I've been stuck in all your apologies. Gave my all, but you wanted more from me.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear
The Saints are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
Yeah.
The Bears are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
I'm in the mood now. 2 a.m. What you want to do now? What you want to do now?
The Falcons are now on the clock.
Spell on me, that's Margella. Got this Oakland game to tell her.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
What's her name? It's about
The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
how weekends go. Trying to function, got some places we can go.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
I'm blessed. I don't GA.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Yes. Say less. Say less.
The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Say less. Yeah.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Hey girl, what it do? If you got friends, cool.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Man, R.I.P. Nate Dogg.
The Browns are now on the clock.
What I'm down for. Round 2, round 3, and a round 4. Mood switch when she knocked at the front door. Next up was the uproar. Yeah, was like a week ago, but we both know how weekends go. Trying to tuck off, got some places we could go. Swear she got the like wow, she's blessed, I'm blessed. I don't GA. You tryna.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Say less. Say less. You ain't go. Say less.
Sheesh. What you saying? I don't understand. I'm out my mind. I popped. Sheesh. I swear this lock shot got me stuttering. Girl, you not fall in love again. Sheesh. Get it, my favorite rush. You talkative, ain't gotta say too much. Be quiet, who got some grapes? I'm trying to. I'm all ball for these. Get it.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Hate it. No conversation. Get it. Not compli.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
No conversation.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Less.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
Please.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I'm blessed.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Yes on, yes on, yes on, yes.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Say less.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Say less.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
You ain't got. You ain't go. Say less.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Say less.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Say less. You ain't got. You ain't go. Say less.
I done came up, busting down the whole broke, it's that bad. Want you people swag, you ain't even gotta ask. What are those, what is that? Please don't touch my rap, please don't touch my rap. I'm racked up like rappers, I'm wrapped up on camera, get out on camera, squeeze like asthma, it's rare rap.
The Jets are now on the clock.
When I wear rap, might invest into some rap shit, Lord, still shit rap, and I'm dripping on rags, Rick gon' be.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Yeah, I'm boasting, never brag. Please don't touch my rap. Or the crisp.
Don't step on my Russ Simmons. Do you know how much I'm spending? My closet, it worth about $1 million. Took the little out the runway. In the kitchen. Ralph Simmons. All kind of crazy colors. Living color. Left wrist. Roll it. Ice. Make some Margiela my sweater. Mama told me never settle. Ralph Simmons, don't lace them. Got your wanna.
Huh? Wait, don't wanna talk about the paper. I swear to God, these be haters. They be hating, I feel all of live in cul-de-sac, don't get along. Ooh, right with my neighbors. Diamonds on my neck and roll it on. Now I later got underbit flavors. I'm with my lifesaver. Ooh, feel like Darth Vader. I'm a boss, you know I might riff it. Ooh, right in my basement. Yeah. But you know that I'm gon' face it. Wait, that's the reason that they mad. Color Uzi, yeah, he made.
The Falcons are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
Stuck to the pavement, they glued. I'm 2.5 million in the venue and 2,500 a tube. I'm cold like I'm sick with the flu. I cover my face and I'm spring summer 2002. Yeah, please don't touch my ride. In the grass, Teddy, with the Teddy. Quick with the hands ready. Please don't touch my ride. Shirt off on cam, ready. Desktop in memory. Please don't pop my tie.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. With